Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. I am your host, Sir Stephen Topham the third. We're going to be talking about timelines today, and we're going to talk about this very seriously because this is a very serious topic. To be notified, to be no- to rectify all of it. It's all in one bucket, right? A lot of you think timelines are all right to the point. The TNF is correct, which is true. The book of the RWS is correct. Ding, 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 obviously. Then there are 13 timelines, only 10 are going to be active. 3 are destroyed and 10 are active. Now, a lot of you are now going to ask a big question. Why are there 10 of them? Now, to be honest, I'll be fair and square with you guys. No more confusion and delay. We're going to make this a little bit more interesting. Now, a lot of you have watched a lot of footage, and some of it makes sense to you, some of it will not, some will, some won't, etc., etc. I used to have a private connection in America who was acting like a right dick right at the moment. Excuse my language, but that's what he is. I'm not going to mention his name because this private connection has what you would call a problem with him. And a lot of it is all whatever he's coming out with is like partly true, which is true. On the very first video, he was dead on the money on everything. The second, but now I'm going to explain why these timelines are all coming up on YouTube. You got Victor Tanzik, who is more likely not to understand what's going on in the UK. So, being Australian, it's not about racism. It's not about that or anything. It's about the timeline, all right? In order of high eyesight, I'm trying to get. There's a lot of timelines that are all coming true, and they're all coming true, but it's all in the muddle. Now, muddle. Now, why is it in the muddle? Is there a safeguard being put in place? The answer is yes. There's a safeguard put in place for one reason, not for just the kids, but for adults as well. So if you think about this, all of these timelines in your head, it does make a difference. So I'm going to clear nearly 12 of them out, right? Leaving one timeline active. By doing this, this will exclude Victor Tanzik's timeline and everybody else's stories because a lot of it makes sense to them and a lot of it will, some of it won't, some of it will. It coordinates. But because Thomas and Friends in real life is a very slow timeline. It's not like um it's not like Thomas and Friends when it's 20 years ahead and you got to try and do it within 20 years to catch up with it and all that. We need to slow it even more down than that. So we're talking about another 30 years, 40, let's say about 35 to 40 years. They're enough because I'm in my 40s at the moment. I'm not a fat controller yet, which is true, but I am the fat controller. But you get the point. I'm not on the way yet, right? A lot of people are asking another question. They say, why are these multiple timelines confusing everyone? Because the stories don't add up. Now, if I was looking at Victor Tanzik's timeline, did he give you a clue, but he acted like a moron at the same time? No offense, but it's been honest. The honesty is like saying, like, the timelines that are all set in stone are all connected, but they're not connected in the same way. And a lot of people say, why, 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 why is it happening this way? A lot of my friends that are absorbing this information so damn quick, their brains are overloading. They're, right? A lot of them can absorb it slowly, which is true. There's one of them that is really overloaded and really packed and ready to explode on anybody that he comes across. And then you've got myself, who's calm, cool, and collected to try to explain it all to you. But there's a reason for it, and I want people to understand that realistically, why is it all happening so slowly in real life, as it wouldn't do in Thomas and Friends, the timeline that is speeded up from beginning to end? Well, let me explain this in one perspective. If we were at the same speed as Thomas and Friends, we would have destroyed the world. All of it. I won't allow it, right? There's a safeguard being put in place that prevents that. So what happens? All of these people, even my connections and colleagues and connections and friends and so forth, they're all tied together to it. And if we all just try rush our timelines, we destroy the timeline and we end up being dead and buried in all the other pieces. We don't want to be like that. So what we do is we try to slow it down and we try to explain it. We try to give you a little hint on it. Timelines are very delicate. They're not to be rushed. A lot of it is to do with slowness, yes. There are some people that want to take control. There are some people that want to help people out in many ways and one. But there is one thing that people are not picking up on. And I'm going through all the proper channels, red tape if you will call it, and you have to let the timeline play out a little bit, unfold. But like I said, when Victor Tansit comes along, as example, he may be on the right page, but his timeline is all muddled up with Wild Nor'westers. Now, if Wild Nor'wester finds out, and he's not continuing his series at the moment, where do you think when he put Emily and Helen in, right? She never retired. Why? Because she's not born yet. My son, Richard Topham Hatt, is not born yet. So work it out. What went wrong in every timeline that's been trying to be fixed? My grandfather put a safeguard in place to stop you lot from acting like you know, doing all these timelines. You got 13 of them, and you only got 10 active ones. I already knocked out the bad guy ones. So work it out. You got 3 that gone. Poof. Correct. You got Wild the Western's timeline. That's it. The 3 bad ones. Then I knocked off another one because I affected Tanzik's timeline. Doesn't add up. You got Then you got another timeline that doesn't completely add up at all. Period. And I know who it belongs to, so that's why I'm saying I'm not mentioning his name. And then they don't add up, right? Because a lot of it is telling you could be past, future, or present. So you got to work out exactly which point I'm in. You know, a lot of you know that Stephen Topham Hatt the third, which is me, actually gets charged on the North Norfolk Railway. Now work it out. The North Norfolk Railway is failing right now, right? That's realistic. Now, what happened if they found out they booted out their own fat controller? They'd be screwed right now. They lost customers. They lost money. They lost rates. They lost respect. They lost everything. What happened? They should never booted out 1,000 volunteers and ended up with nothing. Why? Because the volunteers that were booted all know who I was. But they decided to keep their gob shut. So what they do, you guys are nearly left with nothing. But have you noticed that the steam trains are coming back? Yes, indeedy. They all coming back. With all these timelines being messed up all at once in one swing. Like I said, I'm not a racist guy. I just know things that other people don't know, alright? There are things potentially that could be very lethal and dangerous that could turn the world upside down. So my grandfather put something in safeguard for me to be safeguarded and also protect myself. So regardless to everything else, the hats exist, right? The thing is, all you have to do is listen to me. Be realistic. Look at the timelines and look at everything. But there are a few things that people need to know about the secrets. I said timelines are very delicate, yes. The timelines are dodgy at times, yes. But while Norwester's timeline is dead on the money, the TNF timeline is dead on the money. The RWS is dead on the money. That's three. Then you've got three bad ones, obviously, taken care of. Bang, bang, obviously. And then there's six more to deal with. But I've taken Victor Tenzik's timeline out of it. Why? Because the people that I associate with don't add up. Anyway, the people that this is why I'm not mentioning people's names, because I know timelines can be very funny, very awkward, and very, very deterministic. To say, look, these timelines exist for a reason, but there's only one timeline. One timeline. But people are forgetting it. So realistically, you have to look at Wild Norwester's timeline and my timeline combined and look at it logically. Some people in America, who I will not discriminate, even Australia, they have to learn it as well. There's only one timeline. One timeline. And I would not repeat myself over and over again on this. This is one off topic. This is a one off topic because people don't know everything under the radar. You know, you're starting to think you know it all. Come to Norfolk and look for it for yourself and look where you're at. Because sometimes you might find out that the North Norfolk Way is failing. You've got the Greater Anglia that's failing, near enough. Why? Because they're producing stuff they shouldn't do. So realistically, just look at it and put yourselves. There's 13 timelines. 6 of them have been reduced, so it narrows it down even more. Then you've got Wild and Wester's timeline active, and you've got the TNF timeline active at the same time. Not initially Victor Tanzik, right? The person you watch, Victor Tanzik, is 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 basically stepping the mark, over the mark. And if you watch his timeline, it doesn't add up. Anyway, thank you very much.